Okay, I'm going to talk a bit about retrogrades and the current chart of today. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I thought we'd have some fun, and I'd use a bit of solar fire because I love using it, and because we can emanate it and watch the planets move. So what we've got is the 25th of May at the moment. I'm in the UK, so we're 25th here, and you're going to be 24th if you're in the USA right now. But this is just a little rundown of what's going on. If we currently look at the chart of the moment, I won't go in order of the planets, I'm just going to go in order of the way I've got written down. At the moment, we've got 3 planets, 4 that are retrograde. So what I'm going to show you is that we've got Pluto retrograde, we've got Jupiter retrograde, and we have Saturn all retrograde in Capricorn. Saturn actually is going to be retrograding back into Capricorn. On the 12th of January, we had the conjunction of Pluto and Saturn, which was at 22 degrees Capricorn, which was really showing astrologers that we were going to have some breakdown of structure, because Pluto is to do with birth, death, and transformation and transmutation, and Saturn is to do with our restriction, and it's to do with maturity, growth, boundaries, and also in Capricorn the ruler is Saturn, so we could see that quite clearly as astrologers. But you can also YouTube Pluto Saturn conjunction if you want to know more on that, or Google. And what we have, the YouTube or Google, but what we have at the moment, we're on the June the 18th, we're going to have Mercury is going to go retrograde in the sign of Cancer at 14 degrees. So I'm going to just push this chart forward to give you an idea. But I'd also say at this point that Venus is currently retrograde as well. And it will go back to, it's at 19 degrees, and it's going to go back to 5 degrees of Gemini. So we've got it at 19 degrees of Gemini, and it's going to go back to 5 degrees of Gemini. So we can very much see that we've got Gemini season going on here, in the fact that the sun is in Gemini at 4 degrees. We've got Venus at 19, Mercury at 24. And we can see that, you know, the communication and our values and needs and the sun are quite defining. So now we're going to go, I'm going to do this by days. So we're going to go 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31st of May. And we can see that we've got, as an example, that we'll have Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn squaring the Sun and Venus, which is going to be occurring there. And we've also got other squares going on. We've got Mars squaring Venus and the Sun, and we've also got Neptune square as well. So we've got a lot of activity going on. On the 6th, I'm going to show you, we're going to have a exact square. I'm just going to go to the 6th of June, 1 or 5th or 6th, let's see, 5. We've got Mars is going to square the Sun. It's going to be exact. In fact, let's see if I go a day back. We've got 14 degrees of Pisces Mars, which is going to be squaring the Sun. So again, if I go maybe by hours, we can see that square exactly take place. 1, 2, 3. There you go. We've got 14 degrees and 14 degrees. So that square, that energy can be quite fearsome, and we're going to have to watch ourselves, you know, individually. It will depend where it falls in our houses, you know, like it's good. So you need to look at your own chart. And if you don't understand that, then I'm able to help. But it really is a case of looking at your own chart, because when you have the birth time, then what you have is your rising sign, which will then show you where the planets are falling, what houses the planets are falling into, and the houses are the areas of life being affected by the particular planet. The planet says the way that, you know, the energy that's speaking, and the houses are the area that it's happening. So what I'm going to do now is tell you, let's go up to the 18th of June and look at that. So I'm going to go by days and skip ahead. 1, 2, 3, 18th of June. And we have 18th of June, we're going to have Mercury which is going to be at that point in Cancer at 14 degrees, is going to station, and then it's going to go station on the 19th, and then it's going to go retrograde, and that will be retrograde until July the 12th, and it will go back to 5 degrees of Cancer. So again, we take our chart and then we look at how that's playing out to our natal planets as well, so that we get a deeper understanding of what is taking place. And I could go deeper with this, but I'm just showing you solar fire at the moment. The other thing that we've got in August, we've got Uranus, which is to do with breaking free of limitations, will be going retrograde on August the 15th at 10 degrees of Taurus, and Taurus is to do with our values and our needs, and inwardly, you know, our values and our needs and our resources as well. And that will be going retrograde until January the 1st, 2021. So this is really going to be a good one to look at for humanity, because the outer planets are quite powerful in the respect of how they affect our lives. The inner planets move quite quickly, and the outer planets take, you know, like Pluto takes 240 years as an example, and Jupiter takes 12, and Saturn takes about 29. I'm just giving you an average there. Neptune takes 184. Mars takes 2 years, and that's not an outer planet. And Chiron takes 49 to 51 years to go around the chart. So we can see all of the inner planets here, the Sun and the Moon and Venus and Mars. And then the other thing, the nodes, and Mercury, sorry, add in there, the nodes, they take 18 years to transit around the chart. So the North Node is currently in Gemini at 29 degrees, but and the South Node is in Sagittarius, which doesn't show on this chart. But if we then look at, we've also got Neptune, which is going to go retrograde on June the 23rd. So let's go to June the 23rd. 1, 2, 3. We've got now we'll find Neptune, and Neptune is up here, and it stations. You can see the little S on the chart, and then we go retrograde. So it's going to go retrograde, and that will be retrograde from June the 23rd until November the 29th. So what that does, Neptune takes, you know, it's sort of where we have been in, you know, disillusionment, and it's also the fog begins to clear. Some of us are born with retrograde planets. For instance, on my chart, and you would have to check your chart to see it, you can do that with astro.com, but I was personally born with Neptune and Pluto and Uranus retrograde. So when the planets go retrograde and you have a retrograde planets in birth, it affects you slightly differently when they go retrograde. It maybe feels a bit more of being at home, I would say. That's how I feel. Like at the moment, Pluto's retrograde, so I feel like more of my Pluto energy is coming out of me. It's more outward now. So what else can I show you? So Pluto is retrograde April 25th, and then that's going on until October the 4th, 2020. And then we've got the North Node is in basically, you know, that's going to be going on, it's going to stay in Gemini for a good 1.5 years. The nodes take about 1.5 years to move through a house. So it's going to be, that's just the way it is. And then Lilith, we haven't got on this chart, but Lilith is not up to anything there. And then Chiron, July the 11th until December the 15th, 2020. And that's a big one for all of us, because we're basically looking at healing ourselves at this time inwardly. And when it goes retrograde, we're going to be looking at our inner wounds and how we're going to deal with them. Things will come to the surface that will help us to resolve things inwardly within ourselves. So I'm going to leave it there. And if you want your chart read, then you can basically book a session with me. I'm $20. I did say up until the end of May for an hour recorded session with me on Zoom. But if you would, you know, I might extend that because it looks like social distancing is continuing. And the reason I dropped it from $70 to $20 was because of the social distancing. So I'm just going to review that at the end of May. But if you want to, which is a week away, But if you want to book me, then please do so, and I'll help you with your chart to understand it. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.